When I got to Poland, I realized I think this is the place I want to live next year.
So I'm here with Johnny FD. What does the FD stand for? Is something with fighting
and diving.
And fighting and diving.
Johnny Fighter Dive Master was the title I had on my first book. It's called 12 Weeks in Thailand. And it was just a way to get more keywords into the Amazon search. So if somebody wanted to know about scuba diving or Muay Thai, maybe they would find it.
Okay.
And it just stuck.
It stuck.
Meet Palle Bo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything, his house, his car, his furniture, and set out with a quest to visit every single country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
You are the godfather of digital nomads in Chiang Mai, I would say.
Unofficial title.
Yeah, you have been a huge inspiration, and in fact, one of the reasons, if not the main reason, that I'm here in Chiang Mai now, because I was listening to Travel Like a Boss podcast, and you got me turned on to Chiang Mai and the whole digital nomad hotspot. Why have you been here so long?
I love it here. I really do. Every time I feel like maybe it's time to move on, I will sell all my stuff, get rid of my apartment. I'll go to whatever hotspot people keep talking about, whether it's Austin, Texas, or Sofia, Bulgaria, or Berlin, Germany. I'll go there thinking, okay, this is the new place. This one's going to be a million times better. And after 1 or 2 months, I miss Chiang Mai, so I come back. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason why I like Chiang Mai so much is it's just the perfect mixture of good weather, good food, low cost of living, but more importantly than that, because it doesn't have the best infrastructure in the world. It's pretty good. It doesn't have the best nature in the world, but it's pretty good. Everything's is pretty good, but what is excellent is the people that come through here.
Exactly.
And I think that is why I keep coming back, and this is why people like it.
Yeah, and I've been here 2 weeks now. I still have another 2 weeks to go, and I could easily see myself coming back here to stay even longer.
Yeah, and what's incredible is I think most people feel that way. I'm sure not everybody likes it, and I think now that more and more people come, there's always going to be a 1% of people who are like, "Oh, this place sucks. I hate it," and those people, unfortunately, I think. Maybe their expectations are too high because everyone keeps talking about how great it is, or maybe, it's just not for them, and I don't blame them. If you love big cities, if you want to live in a place like New York or London, you'll hate Chiang Mai. It's not a big city. It's like it's a small city, but if you like an easy lifestyle, you like a friendly place, you like access to nature, you like a very kind nomad scene, especially kind of beginner friendly, this is a great place to be.
Only problem is so many Americans.
Definitely not a problem.
I'm kidding. So what's your story? You're 35 years old, and what brought you on to traveling in the first place?
So my whole life I actually never traveled very much. To me, going from one city to another in California was a big deal.
You're from San Francisco?
From San Francisco. And when I moved down to Orange County, which is in the same state, I felt like I was making a journey across a sea, even though it was an 8-hour drive in a car. And, maybe in Europe that really is going across 1 or 2 countries even. But it wasn't until 2008 when I came to Thailand for my first time ever on vacation. I came with my 2 cousins. I had a normal life back home. I was living in LA at the time. I had a big fancy house. I had 2 cars. I had all this furniture. I had a pretty good life.
And a good job?
I was in between jobs then, but I had a great job. So it was one of those things where I was deciding, do I want another great job that's going to tie me down, or do I want to do something and try to kind of pursue my passion? And I didn't know what my passion was at the time. That was the problem. And I thought, okay, this is my chance. I had just got laid off from this great corporate job. I had a little bit of cash. Let me just go for it. So I came to Thailand, and it was only supposed to be for 2 weeks. And I just fell in love with it. went scuba diving for my first time ever, and I really, really, really enjoyed that. That was something that I never thought was possible, because you only see it on TV, on Discovery Channel or National Geographic.
In fact, I took my PADI license back in Denmark, and where the visibility in the cold water is next to nothing. And then I went scuba diving in the Philippines for the first time, and that was mind blowing.
Yeah, you know, talk numbers. What was the visibility and the temperature in Denmark, and what was it in Philippines?
Well, the temperature, I do centigrade, so it was probably 10 centigrades, and the visibility 3 meters. And here it was 30 meters, and I didn't have to put on all this equipment, and it was just so beautiful. I went diving in Morbol in Cebu with millions of sardines, and it was unbelievable. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that some more.
And I'm guessing the water temperature was 27, 28 centigrade. Yeah. So I was lucky. My first time I ever went diving was in Phuket, Thailand, and it was very similar. It was probably 20 meters visibility. You know, anything over 10 is great, you know? And the water was warm. It was probably 27, 28 degrees, so you don't even really have to wear a wetsuit. You can just wear, you know, a rash guard or a shirt. And I thought, this is it. This is what I want to do. So I went home, sold all my stuff. Sold my 2 cars, got rid of the lease on my apartment, got rid of all my furniture, and I decided, okay, I'm just coming to Thailand. I'm going to learn how to scuba dive. And almost 8 years later, I'm still here.
But you've also been traveling to other countries.
Yeah, I just wrote a post on johnnyfd.com about 2016 and where I went, and I had to count because I had no idea. But it turns out I was in 17 countries last year. Wow. And it wasn't even on purpose. I wasn't even trying to see that much.
Whoops.
It just happened that way. It was where...
That was in Europe?
A lot of it was in Europe. So it was... I was in Thailand for a lot of it. I went over to Hawaii, saw some friends in LA, went to, you know, a few places in the US, but a majority of that was in Europe. So I started in the West Coast in Portugal. I went up and down that coast. I kind of slowly made my way east, you know, through Belgium, through Amsterdam, through Berlin. Then when I got to Poland, I realized I think this is the place I want to live next year. So
Poland,
out of all places, it has such a bad reputation, and we almost
in Krakow.
We went to both Krakow and Warsaw, and we thought, me and my friend Chris that I was traveling with, we thought it was going to be a joke. We thought we were going to go there, have a laugh, and say, "Haha, we're in Poland. You know, here's some vodka and, you know, some potatoes or something." And we thought instantly, like both of us, he arrived by plane, I arrived by train at the same time, within the same hour. And we messaged each other, Poland is amazing. And it was because we both had a very similar experience where as soon as you got to the airport, as soon as I got to the train station, there was a sign saying, you know, welcome, here's free Wi-Fi. And we connected to the Wi-Fi and we were like, we are getting 300 megabytes down. And it's free. How is this possible? And
you wouldn't expect that when you hear Poland.
Yeah. Especially because right before that, I was in Berlin, where everybody was saying, oh, it's so amazing. Berlin is the new hotspot for digital nomads. And you go there and you spend 30 minutes to try to get a SIM card. And you get, you know, half a gig for 20 euros. And then it runs out. And then that's it. In Poland, it was, I think, 5 euros for, I think it was something like 20 gigs of 4G. Every single place you go to has just the best internet. I've never dropped a single call in 3 weeks in Poland. You know, I would be willing to bet I didn't even drop a single packet. You know, it was just one of those things where everything was easy. Google has a co-working space there that has 800 megabytes up and down.
You are kidding.
And it's free. Anybody can go.
Is that in Warsaw or in Krakow?
It's in Warsaw.
Yeah. So which is it going to be Warsaw?
I wrote a blog called Warsaw versus Krakow because it is so hard to decide. Warsaw is a much bigger city. It has a Google campus, but it's also a little bit spread out. Krakow is smaller. It's almost like the Chiang Mai of Poland, where it's smaller. You can walk everywhere. In the old city, it's beautiful because they have all the original architecture still because it wasn't destroyed during the war. and all the locals hang out in that city center. It's a very big college town. There's good food. There's also co-working spaces. It just seems better on paper. But Warsaw is kind of like Bangkok if Bangkok didn't suck, because it is spread out, but there's just more to do. There's more restaurants. There's more, more of everything. And what's really nice is you can get this app on your phone to unlock any bicycle at any station, and you can just ride it for free to the next station. Just leave it there, and it was just amazing. Waking up every morning, walking over to a station, grabbing a bicycle, riding it across the bridge to the Google campus, working, riding it back, and just life was just easy.
Yeah. I have yet to see Poland. In fact, I did buy a bus ticket when I was in Kiev to go to Krakow. But then a friend of mine said, "Oh, you don't want to go there now. Go to Moldova." So I ended up not using that bus ticket. So I still need to go there. Keep me posted on which is going to win Krakow or Warsaw, because I definitely want to go there.
Yeah, this summer my plan is to spend 1 month in Krakow to see if I like, because I already know I like Warsaw. But I'm wondering if I'm going to like Krakow more. So I'm going to spend at least a month there. And either I'm going to get bored of it because it is smaller and it has less stuff to do, or I'm going to say, okay, this is nice for a vacation, maybe to see, but then I'm going to move to Warsaw.
But also, like we talked about, it also depends on if they have this digital nomad scene, if you have the networking and the people around it, because the people are very important.
So in Warsaw, surprisingly, there is a great community already. What's nice too is people there, even though a lot of them are actually American or from other countries, they are living in Warsaw. So they're not leaving every month or 2 months, which is one of the downsides of Chiang Mai. Is you make some great friends and then a month later they're gone. There you can have an established life. You can, if you wanted to, you can have a family there. It's a very Western place. I think it's one of the safest places I've ever been. It has, some of the best infrastructure. It's everything opposite of what people think it is.
Totally.
And people are very people are so intelligent there. And there's this rumor that Polish people are idiots. So I think because of all the kind of rumors, that keeps their economy a little bit down, and it's like a hidden gem that nobody knows about because we are still thinking 30 years ago.
Did you go to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania?
No, I didn't have a chance to go to any of those countries.
Because that surprised me as well. I started my journey in Tallinn, and it is so modern and so cheap, and have a lot of organic food. The quality is very good, and the prices are low. So that could also be a good place. In fact, a friend of mine who's been to every single country in the world, I asked him, if you were to live in another country and it was not to be Denmark, which would it be? And he said, probably Estonia. And that totally surprised me, but I could see what he meant when I was there.
I could definitely see that. They have tons of nature. I think I have a friend who was showing me where they lived in Estonia, and I just saw green forest everywhere.
A beautiful old city, Tallinn, and also Vilnius in Lithuania. Lovely place. I could really enjoy being back there again.
I'm definitely going to check out both those places. I think the only problem with Europe is half the year. So I think...
Well, the weather in San Francisco is not perfect.
Well, that's why I don't live in San Francisco. I could see myself living somewhere in Europe for 6 months of the year, and then living somewhere else, either maybe in Chiang Mai, or if I ever move back to the US, it'd be somewhere warmer, maybe San Diego or Austin, for 6 months of the year. And I think that's the ideal life.
We've just been recording an episode of Travel Like a Boss, your podcast, and you've been doing that for a long time. Did you say that we were number 144?
Yeah, so if you want to listen to Pally's full podcast episode on mine, it's Travel Like a Boss, episode 144.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes or the podcast app on your smartphone. You can see pictures, watch videos, and read much more on theradiovagabond.com. Palle can be reached for interviews and public speaking gigs on mail at theradiovagabond.com.
My name is Palle Bo. Thanks for listening.